Hello and welcome to the Kimbley IT podcast, episode 75. Myself, James Kimbley, Carl Heath, and this week we are joined by Jordan and Lauren Hughes of Cloudshed. How are you guys doing?
Hi, good, thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, good, thank you.
So for all the listeners out there, Cloudshed specialise in training for Google Workspace and another surface that I can't actually say. You can mention that name if you want to, and then I can put the beep in afterwards.
What, Microsoft 365?
There we go. People be going on that one. But we've been working together for quite a long time. I don't know how many years is it probably 3 years, I reckon?
Yeah, probably. Maybe a little bit more.
It was Google Next 2018 when we met for the first time in real life. Anyway.
Right, yeah. In real life, yeah. No one does that anymore now, though.
No. You had to sign a special document which had to be signed by a pen.
It did, yeah.
One of those few documents that has to be written with ink, even in today's world.
I know, crazy.
So should we jump straight into our recaps of the past fortnight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's great. It's a great one, isn't it? We had a client who had some laptops that were playing up, 2 laptops, Kyle, and simple solution, factory reset it. That seems to work out for them. So it's Windows, like Windows over time, it just gets worse and worse and worse because people install stuff and they never remove things. And I think do a bit of modifications on it and use it like open source things and stuff like that. And it's the computers were. What was the problem? It was something to do with Gmail, wasn't it? It was something to do with Chrome anyway. Yes, Chrome was randomly crashing and opening, and normally you think, okay, just uninstall Chrome and reinstall it, but you did that and that didn't sort the problem out. So did a factory reset in the end, and that worked for them, didn't it, Carl?
It's great that that's actually now available in Windows. After being on Macs for years, you could self-do this. Windows. Yeah. I mean, you needed IT people years ago I spent most of my early career reloading Windows for people. Yourself. And now it's very straightforward to talk to somebody.
No one could ever find the CD or the license key to reinstall Windows previously.
I'm taking you back to reloading Windows 98 over the top was what I spent a lot of time doing in the late 90s when everyone else was at school.
Do you miss it? You look
I
back on those
I was
days.
at school yet.
Excellent. Fabulous. Good.
I was at school, but I was at home doing my homework on Windows 98 in Carter Encyclopedia.
In Carter Encyclopedia.
That was awesome. All your homework answers were in there. You didn't even need Google then. You had in Carter, and it had games. Win-win.
I had in Carter. I wasn't smart enough to use it. I never thought about doing it like that.
That's because you were probably too busy selling hooky copies of Encarta around the school. I reckon.
Yeah, that's weird how they never converted it to online.
Yeah, no, just when.
Yeah, they didn't see it. I don't think they saw it coming.
Wikipedia did. Jimmy Wales.
Well, yes, indeed.
Next thing was we had a. This really crappy lead that came in, isn't it? You want to talk about that, Carl, because you dealt with them mainly.
Well, crappy is the best word. You put very weak, but crappy is a better description of this lead. Yeah. Because we have a healthcare provider as one of our clients, people get a word on the grapevine, and so they contact us. And this healthcare provider contacts us to say basically the NHS had shut them out of all their email because they hadn't got any kind of secure email, and they were desperate for somebody to work with them. We told them everything that was going on. Yeah, we'll get back to you. Then they didn't get back to us. Then somebody else got back to us asking the same questions from the start in the new year. And I was like, I've already spoken to you and I've told you everything you already need to know. Oh, well, we don't know any of that now. Can you tell it to us again? No, you can go to the website and have a look if you want to. And then James and I came to the conclusion that they were a basket case and there's no chance they were being a customer. And so that's the end of that. They were gone. Not having them as a lead, not having them as a prospect to a customer. They were rubbish. Because they needed an emergency to get out of one problem, and they weren't interested in what we did. All they wanted was anybody who would get them out of this problem, and that's not a good fit. That's not a good fit for us.
No.
Because after that, they emailed back saying, "Oh yeah, we'd like to go ahead," and some made-up price that they picked up. It was like £80 a month. Yeah, we'll pay that. We'll be happy to do that for £80 a month for the year. What? Where's that come from? You've had like 2 video calls with Carl and the telephone, and you still don't understand what's going on. So, off you go.
Yeah. No, we do get that a lot. We get a lot of people where we have to, you won't want to work for us. We have to tell people the same thing over and over and over again until it happens. But I think that is the thing with training that we'll probably talk about a bit later, is it is a hard sell sometimes. So you do kind of have to keep banging away at it until they realise why they need it. And so it does take a bit longer to sell in sometimes. Yeah. But we are getting stricter. We're not having the same calls over and over again. We are getting a bit stricter about that.
That's it. You got to.
Yeah.
You got to tell
time
these
is
people.
money.
Right. You can't let them waste your time. You've got to call it. It's either this way or that way. Make your decision, otherwise go.
Yeah.
You're right. And with training is interesting. We had a client yesterday who wanted me to help them with something involving a university. And unfortunately, they asked me 15 minutes before they were due to present at the university. And I did say to them, have you had any training?
Yeah.
Yes, but I didn't watch it.
Oh, dear.
So I had to say to them, I can't help you then. You needed to watch the training and try and crack on.
Yeah, definitely.
But sometimes this has to happen. Otherwise, like being a parent, you don't learn if you don't discipline your children and get them to have some consequences for their actions. So if said client is listening, they know I still love them, but there was nothing I could do. I couldn't watch it for them and learn it. There was nothing I could do. It was one of those lessons they just have to learn.
That's true.
The next thing for me was I put a post on LinkedIn about Signal, because everyone's moving to Signal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I kind of kicked off, really. It was probably my first viral post of the year, and they got a lot of people.
Viral, brilliant.
Viral in my case, it got a few hundred people viewing it.
That's good.
Happy about that. Yeah, there was one nutcase that posted on it. I can't actually find the post. I'm going through my LinkedIn thing, but everyone else seemed to agree, prefer to go to Signal because I had that chart in it, didn't it, of all the different accesses that are required, like Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp needs like so much location data. I've just found out now, and Signal needs none of this stuff, and no access to your phone. And everyone else going, yeah, that's fine. And then there was one absolute nut job who posted on there, and he was going on basically he moved it on from the chart's made up. It's clearly a fake chart. That the journalist doesn't know what they're talking about. And then it went on to about how the US were invading the UK and stuff like that. He's like, it's just like crazy, the comments.
I didn't see that. I just read the article.
I don't think I'll be able to get my friends to switch from WhatsApp.
I know, that's
no one cares.
That's the problem.
That is the issue. Like, if I went to Signal, like, I'd be by myself because
just for me,
no one else is gonna. It's taken us this long to get our mum on WhatsApp. Never mind, now move everyone to Signal.
Yeah, and in lockdown 1, we warned them about Zoom, and they were like, "We don't care, to be honest. We just want to do a quiz."
Yeah, it's the network effect, isn't it? It's just there's no even with 40 million or 50 million, whatever's moved from WhatsApp to Signal, they're all still on WhatsApp because they can't get anyone else to move either. Like the only reason I'm on WhatsApp is I held off WhatsApp until September last year. And then my daughter started school, and they had a parents WhatsApp group thing, which the woman who came up to me in the car park said it in a really clever way. So that I'd have to agree to join it, and that if I didn't agree, I'd be the right idiot or right knob. So I had to agree to it, and so that's the only reason I'm on WhatsApp, and it's just that one group on there, which, as far as I can see, it's just full of mothers, and there's no one else on there. And whenever I type anything in, I don't get a reply anyway. But as soon as another mother types it in, everyone's replying. So I don't bother much of it now. You're a WhatsApp user, aren't you, though, Carl? You're quite heavy.
Yeah, I sometimes. Yeah. Some people just message me on all different platforms, so you just don't know when they're going to come at you. Facebook Messenger was the one that just amused me. I do use Facebook Messenger, and it's just hilarious. Like, there's just zero privacy in that. Facebook is completely infiltrating my life through that. The amount of data it collects is crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. But you see it now because I've been on it. You go on Instagram, and then you go into Facebook, and Facebook's displaying you adverts for something you looked at 5 minutes ago in Instagram, a picture of the content, and you just like, this is so interconnected now that at some point,
that happens
probably going to do something about it.
The weird thing with Facebook Messenger is I think it's more private than WhatsApp, because WhatsApp, anyone can find you if they know your mobile phone number. But Facebook Messenger is only people that you've allowed to be your friends can connect and contact with you. So no one can contact you on Facebook Messenger out of the blue.
No, that's not true. That's not true. They can.
Yeah, but it goes into a spam, doesn't it? So you don't see it.
It goes into yeah, but that's the same as like WhatsApp is, because it will say block or report, and it's the same thing.
Okay.
So you can still get sent something that you don't really want to see, and you can certainly get sent offensive content in text form and still see it. So they all do that. Even Instagram does it.
My phone's really good at that now, though. When I get spam and stuff, it just tells me you've got this, but we've spammed it.
Yeah.
That text-wise.
Yeah. Pardon?
Is that on text?
Yeah, on text.
Yeah. Yours. What phone have you got, Lauren?
Pixel 4.
Yeah, same as what I've noticed on my Pixel 4 as well. The same thing that happens. Yeah.
So then I WhatsApp my friends to warn them because their phones won't do that.
But some weird stuff does happen. I think I told you before, me and Lauren voice note a lot on WhatsApp, and we have like a group conversation with us and our partners. And I obviously send them an interesting voice note about how my extractor fan, the filter thing, I was just sick of cleaning it all the time and I really want to get a new one. Is that a thing? Next thing I know, I open Instagram and I've got an advert for an extract. I didn't even know what it was called. I didn't even say the words because I didn't know what it was called. But I had the advert up because I'd voice noted them about it. I hadn't searched it or anything.
And we didn't, at the time, we didn't know if it was, I don't want to slag off Google, but we didn't know if it was Google Home or not. She was like, I don't know what to switch off.
Someone's listening to me. Really boring content.
Why do people mix voice notes with text notes? You see, the problem with the voice note is that someone drops a voice note and then I play the voice note and then the voice note is adult content and my daughter's next to me and I don't know if I can play the content or not.
I know.
Yeah, I've done that.
Disclaimer after though, I'll like quickly write like this isn't for near kids.
And it what? Not safe for work? You put that at the end of the deal.
I remember sending Jordan one once and she went, Hallie sat next to me and I was in trouble. I can't remember what I said.
No, you were in trouble.
We have to watch this stuff. James always tells me in the car. Rosie's in the car, so he gives me the heads up.
Yeah.
Keep it clean.
Yeah.
Likewise, you do the same. Well, we
don't. Both of us are known usually on phone calls. The only time we phone each other is to rant and swear about something that's annoyed us. Usually. Yeah.
Normally we're in the car.
Yeah, that's it.
It doesn't happen that often anymore, anyway.
No, I
haven't seen him for over a year, so
yeah, we're getting next month, isn't it? February will be our anniversary of not meeting in real life. Yeah.
That's so weird, isn't it?
Works brilliantly.
Yeah.
And next thing we got is Chromebooks, as we're talking about Google hardware anyway. So I had to save the day and get some.
All right.
So we sent some Chromebooks to a client, which turned out to be a bit underpowered for what they were using. To be fair, though, because they're an accountancy firm, and the same Chromebook models have been sent to another accountancy firm, and they were perfectly okay with them. Right. But this one seems to be doing a lot more work, especially with video calls and screen sharing. And these Chromebooks were struggling to do it. So we had to go and buy some replacement ones. Same model, but you probably saw them. I stuck a photo on them on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw them. Yeah.
So that's the HP 360, but it's the top of the range one. So we'll get them sent off to them tomorrow, and I think that'll sort their problems out. But key with Chromebooks is never go for 4 GB of RAM on a Chromebook.
I think it depends what they're doing, doesn't it? Like you said, the other accountancy firm, it was okay, and it can be sort of a cheap option, but don't work for everybody. Need the next level.
Yeah, and the conclusion that was drawn was that actually the cheap option doesn't work, and a good Chromebook is as expensive as a decent Windows laptop, and that the concept that you're going to get one cheaper is probably a fallacy because of what I could use the Google Meet quality tool was what told me the problem. I could see the CPU on the person's end was just like 95%, and it was clear that that's where it was struggling because there wasn't enough RAM, and so the CPU was then working overtime, and it was killing the conversation.
Right, yeah.
And then finally for us, it's do you want to mention this next part, because I'll probably name the company and everything, and I don't want to try and do it without naming the company. About how they're trying to rip us off over an invoice. You've taken a perspective on this issue. We used to buy a backup service from an American company for a long time.
Yeah.
They were acquired by a big player in the IT industry. When they were acquired, things went really bad. Customer service dropped off, account manager changes, they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
It went a bit cock-a-hoop, and James found us a different provider, but we let the existing licenses run out over time so that we weren't paying twice. And then they sent us a consistent invoice bill for something that never existed. We'd always paid by direct debit. We'd always paid at the end of the month. That's how it worked. And they send us invoices for things that don't exist.
Yeah,
So
there's an invoice. There's invoices they were sending with no description, telling us that we needed to pay $725, whatever it was, for something that there's no description on it. So I kept emailing, tell me what the description is, then we'll look into it. And they never ever responded. Then this week they sent a final notice. And I went back to them, you know what, I'm just going to invoice you for something and I'm not going to put anything in the description. And then, are you going to pay it for me? And like, no, you're not, because no one's going to pay an invoice that you don't know what it's for. And then all of a sudden they bring up this invoice saying it's for a renewal of an account from like 2019. And I'm going, and I go log into our payment portal, and there's no history of this renewal ever happening. There's nothing there, there's nothing in the billing. So I go send them some screenshots back and all that kind of stuff. And then they come back a few hours later going, because this has been going on for months, come back a few later saying, oh, apologies, I had a look through it, and actually it was a fault on our system, and we shouldn't have been invoicing for you because it's already been paid.
Oh my gosh!
I have to do all the work for you as well. I look after our accounts. I look after your accounts too. Crazy.
That is madness.
But we're just thinking, I wonder, because seems to happen during the takeover when they got taken over. How many other companies, maybe bigger partners, that just paid it without even thinking, because they've just
probably.
Like $725 isn't a lot.
No.
And so they've done it to a lot of people. I imagine that they've made a few £1,000s out of it just by charging people for something they shouldn't charge for.
Not good.
Yeah, I would have thought that would be the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but that happens all the time at bigger companies. All the time, invoices just disappear. The amount of businesses, when I worked in the last company that had like 3 broadband lines, and we'd find 2 and go, yeah, well, we've paid them for 10 years. What are they doing?
No.
The accounts just paid stuff and didn't know what it was and just kept on paying it.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Any stories for the last 2 weeks from you both?
What we've been doing, there's been a lot of Google Chat stuff in the last 2 weeks, which is good. It's like, it seems to be picking up now. There's a bit of sort of negativity towards it, but since, it's upped its game, a lot of people seem to want training. So there's been we've had training sessions on it. We've been doing guides for one business. We've been doing videos on it for another business, and general workspace videos. But quite a few sessions on either on Chat and Me or just Chat.
Yeah, I did a webinar last Thursday, didn't I? It was people all over the world. Someone from St. Louis joined. To learn. It was classed as it was called the new Google Workspace. And I think a lot of people joined just to find out how to switch to it from G Suite.
Yeah.
And they wanted a breakdown of the difference between the licenses. And I was thinking, I don't know. Well, because I showed them all the new cool features. They're like, this is amazing. So do I have to switch to Google Workspace now to get all these features? And I said, well, no, you don't. But you do need to switch to Google Workspace. And you're like, but why? I was like, this is what the webinar's about.
Bit of a rant we got about with Google Chat, because we started using Zapier for plugins.
Right.
The thing with Zapier is it you can do connect services together and plug them into Google Chat using the Zapier bot. So, for example, we've got one that checks the feed for the Google Workspace service status, and whenever there's a problem, it just puts it into our Google Chat now for us.
Oh, okay, cool.
Using Zapier. But the thing is, it also lets you connect Google services to Google services into Google Chat. And it's like, why doesn't Google do this natively? Like all these connections, like Google Sheets and stuff like that, it all can be plugged into Google Chat, and the Zapier bot will tell you all this information that's going on.
Yeah.
Seriously, Google, why can't you do this? Or just buy Zapier if you can't do it, if you haven't got skills to do it.
I find that's the case a lot. There'll be a really good add-on, and then Google will buy it.
Yeah.
Zapier, you can basically Slackify Google Chat using Zapier and its stuff, because you can plug so much things into it. It's crazy.
That's cool.
And also been planning our 30 days of our favourite things about Google Workspace. Like Lauren said, probably should have just done a week. It's a lot of work, but we just wanted to show that there is so much, and it is nice to show people, like, obviously the simpler things. I'm not going to give away what today's is, but
those infograms that you're sticking on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and there's going to be like little videos, they'll all be slightly different. Some will be the same, but just to show people like different features, tips and tricks that they won't realize that's there, and just pique their interest a bit as well to Google Workspace, because a lot of people still think that there isn't that much to it, but there is, and there's there is some really good features people don't know about. So we want to do that. So we're going to do that over the next 30 days. And then we've just been doing admin stuff, writing proposals and helping a lot of people personally set up their businesses online, actually, and setting up for video and websites and helping people Google Classroom, things like that. So,
well, I've been doing one other thing, but you'll have to beep over it.
I've been doing. Oh, right,
I've been putting together some Microsoft Office training.
Oh,
I swore that I would never train on Microsoft Office, only 365 stuff. And then an organisation, we trained them last year, and they said they really loved the training, and they have another company who does Word, Excel, PowerPoint training, but it's really outdated and things. And I said, well,
they asked us if we would do it, and I said, Lauren, do you want to? Because I'm not doing it. Because I don't do the 365 stuff really. I know about it, but I don't know it well enough to do like any sort of really in-depth training. But that's Lauren's skill set now. So I said if she wants to do that. But what we did was, because with this business, they sort of had like these, I mean, when I used to work as an IT trainer before I did all the Google stuff and did like Word, Excel, and you have like these really old lesson plans, if you like, with this. But what we did is they sort of sent us that stuff through, and we said, right, but we don't do that. So we've sort of modernized it. And instead of it being like intro to Word, it's more like working in Word in the cloud and tips and tricks and things like that, and trying to sort of update it and make sure that it is a bit more relevant.
Yeah, and I said I'm not doing advanced Excel.
No.
I don't think I physically, my brain could do that, because I do Google Sheets, and it is quite different going back to Excel. So I said I'll do an introduction, but that's it.
The worst one is the thing I find the most difficult is going into someone's email inbox where they've turned conversational view off, because I can't understand how that email works anymore. That system, it just does not. My brain cannot function. I don't get this. This is just weird. Yeah. The emails are all over the place. How am I supposed to know which is the latest and all that? It's crazy. Well,
sorry. No, I was just going to say that I have conversation view on in my business one, and then I don't in my personal, so that I've still got like the different ways of working.
Crazy. Just nuts. Why do you do that?
Just so like for training, if people prefer which one you can properly explain.
She likes a challenge.
I like the challenge. It's good for different sides of your brain.
Well, pop off to the news now. So these are technology stories that have shown some interest. So I thought this was kind of cool. So because now it's to do with webcams on laptops. So they're always at the top rim, or some, if you've got really bad ones, they're down at the bottom, so you get like a great nose shot and stuff like that.
That is terrible. We had a video call. I know we had a video call not long ago, didn't we, Lauren, and a guy at that, and we were like, where's your laptop position? They were like, oh, we've got one of those new ones with the camera down the bottom. Yeah. It was really strange. I was like, that is so impractical. I don't understand that.
The biggest problem is, like now in this video call, when none of us are looking at each other directly, because we're all kind of looking at the screen, so you're not looking at Samsung. It's happened on mobile phones. There's one of the Chinese mobile phone companies, but Samsung is now going to put cameras underneath the screen. So cool. I imagine it'll be in the center of the screen, underneath the screen. So as you're looking at the screen, you're looking directly at the person as well now. Yeah. And that's something that needs to be done for a long time. It's only because of the pandemic that webcams have actually started to get better, built into laptops and things like that, because they're always like the worst part of any laptop. Like you spend like on a Mac, you spend $1,000 and you get the crappiest of webcams possible. And
yeah, I think ours looks quite good.
But if you bought these are new Macs, aren't they?
I'm on my old one today, actually.
I'm on the new one.
Yeah, exactly that. If you bought that like 2 or 3 years ago, that would just be a webcam, wouldn't it?
Yeah. They're still not good though, James. The good one is the Home Hub. The Google Home Hub camera, when using Duo, is awesome because it's wide angle and it follows the head. So if you move back, it pans out. If you move in, it's really, really good if you've got the family talking, because where people are.
If you walk around the room, it will follow you around the room as well.
What about webcam covers though? Because I'm big on webcam covers. How are you going to cover that if it's in the middle of your screen?
Close the lid.
Put your
what are you doing?
Yeah, no, she's obsessed with webcam covers. I've got nothing to hide.
Look, I read the comments section on Facebook, and I believe what everybody says.
Don't buy a Windows or Mac where malware can be installed. Buy a Chromebook with a camera in the middle, then no one can install anything.
I haven't actually got a cover for this one, but on my old one I had a Google one.
Living on the
out at the minute though. I don't know why. It just freaks me out. So I just always like to cover it.
Just throw a dressing gown over it or something.
A post-it note. That's not.
Just shut the lid. Why is the lid open all the time?
Well, I actually play. We're getting on to Stadia later, but I play Stadia on this because the screen is amazing.
Oh, you don't want people to watch you playing Stadia?
Yeah.
I thought you did. I thought that's what you were trying to do, get people to stream it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to anyway having them in the centre.
Yeah, I think that would be really good.
Monitors and stuff.
Yeah, it's just I think like because where it's positioned on the Mac, obviously on the edge, it feels a bit more like durable, a bit more secure. If it's in the centre of the screen, will it last as like? Will the quality be as long for as good? As good for as long?
I think it should be because it's probably. Isn't it technically a bit more secure? Because I know it's on the top edge at the moment. You're touching that all the time when you open and close the lid.
True, that is true.
Rather than the middle of the screen. So
I've not known many damaged webcams in laptops in my career. Tend to be pretty robust things, to be honest. I think it will be good in the middle of the screen because we'll be able to take the bezel to the very edges, like we can with televisions, and that will give us more screen space for money because you're losing quite a lot of real estate for this.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just don't let my 4-year-old touches my screen all the time, especially with home learning. When she's counting, 1, 2, don't touch the screen.
Don't let 4-year-olds full stop. Just don't let them. My had the glitter out this weekend, and
no.
glitter and kinetic sand.
Oh God.
That's why you weren't replying to me at all. You're too busy tidying that up.
Kinetic sand is stuck in my floorboards. I've got pink strips in between my floorboards.
I've got a bit stuck on one of my floorboards. Yeah. I love kinetic sand though. It's really quite mind-blowing, but it is messy. But it is good. It's quite satisfying when you can pick it up using another bit and just sort of dab it around.
Could you get into trouble not removing that, Carl? Because Carl lives in a listed home. His house is listed.
Oh, really?
So you're not allowed to do a lot of things.
My floorboards are not listed.
But your windows are. Your single pane windows.
I can only get in trouble if somebody was to report me to English Heritage. So, James.
I'm replying you right now.
You don't worry about all the people that are listening in. Don't like us.
It could go viral.
Reporting my house for damage by kinetic sand. Yes.
The next story is, have you heard of Brave browser? So
I googled it this morning. I watched a video and I didn't like how much they slagged off Chrome.
Yeah, they do. Well, it's a privacy-based browser, so it has ad blocking built in and all this kind of stuff straight into it. And it's a Chrome browser. It's running that, but they've brought out a thing called IPFS, which is really technical. But essentially, what it is, it's a new way to visit websites in that it's using peer-to-peer networks.
Yeah.
To load up the website, so which technically will make it a lot harder to shut a website down because the website won't have it won't be just on a server that you can go to and switch it off.
Yeah.
Because it's running peer to peer, everyone will have a bit of the site and then it will load up. Okay. And it's kind of like Tim Berners-Lee's backing this peer to peer style network because it's bringing the internet back to how he visioned it to being an open place where everything's on there and no central people have control over the content and can shut it down. You're about to say something there, Carl?
Saves money, James.
Yeah, it saves money because it's cheaper to load, isn't it?
Yeah, because the problem with HTTP protocol is as soon as you connect to a web server for each article, that it connects to one server only and downloads it at once. And if that connection breaks, it has to start again. So it's a very old school protocol. This protocol allows for the concept around BitTorrent and pulling it from multiple nodes and sources, which means people don't have to rely on expensive last carrier costs, which in other parts of the world are prohibitively expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the official line.
It does look really good, the website. I just don't like advertising when they have to sort of slag off another brand to make themselves look good, which is literally, they've said it about 3 times in that video, something bad about Chrome.
The Brave browser is really only handy if you can, well, it's handy, but it's most handy on a mobile phone because Chrome has no extensions. But if you put the Brave browser on there, you can put extensions in there and it will automatically block the ads on the websites you go to as well, so they won't load up, which it's quite, the thing is going back to Carl's thing. So if you're in a country where data is quite expensive, you're having to pay for those ads to load up on your mobile phone on those web pages. Using something like Brave, it's cutting that part out, so it's also saving data and money for these people.
So would you recommend using it then instead of Chrome?
It depends. I like having like everything connected. So if I've viewed something on Chrome, I want to be able to get it on my history and my Chrome my desktop and all that. And if you're using two different things that don't talk to each other, you're not going to have the same history.
Yeah, what about your Chrome profiles and stuff? Can you do things like that?
No, because it's a separate thing. So
well, I won't be able to do it because I've got like 10 Google accounts.
You can do profiles, but I thought if you mean, do they talk to Google Chrome's profile and your Brave profile? They don't, but you can have multiple profiles on the Brave browser, but they'd be independent.
Yeah,
I use it when I want to read an article in a local newspaper that's impossible to read in Chrome because of the amount of adverts in Brave. So you can paste it into Brave and actually read it.
That is
right. Yeah, that
it'd be good for things like that.
Yeah, I find that really nice. When I Google recipes and stuff, and it takes like 3 hours to get to the recipe because there's loads of adverts.
Yeah, and they crash and they load and they're all on top of it. And you go, I can't read the Shropshire Star here. I'm trying to find out what fell in a river and I can't read it. Yeah.
We've got some sad news next. Alphabet has closed down Loon, internet ballooning company, which I found it quite surprising when I read that, because it was only a couple of months ago where they were saying how they'd broken a record for how long the balloon had stayed in the atmosphere for. They just signed a contract with the government of Kenya to provide connectivity services for that country, and it looked like it was all going well. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they just shut it down, which is interesting. Some people say it's probably because of Elon Musk effect and Tesla's StarNet, so people are more interested in that than the balloons. But Google was always promoting how the balloons are much more useful, especially if you need to get internet into a disaster recovery area, because a satellite's not going to get there as quickly, but a balloon you can just put it up in a few hours and have internet over the whole area. And it's surprising because it seemed to be a project that was going.
Well, I have to say, I'd never heard of it, and it absolutely blew my mind when I read about it. And now I'm upset as well that they don't do it anymore.
Letting us down there. I'm a Google fan.
I know, I did know about it. And I do find it strange that they have not knocked it on the head. It just seems like it was just sort of getting somewhere, but there must be a reason.
You ever been to the Alphabet website, Lauren?
No.
Do you want to know what the web address is? abc.xyz.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm doing it now.
Then you can find out about all the companies that Google owns.
I do feel like you've been on this before.
I probably have with Jordan.
Yeah, abc.xyz is the domain name.
Well, where do I go when I go on the website? There's no buttons.
God, we're not going to help you navigate a website.
We can look at this later. This is embarrassing.
To be honest, you're right. There are no buttons. No, there's two buttons actually.
There's an investors in the bottom, in the top right.
Oh, if you click on more under where G is for Google, it's then got a few links to a couple of their companies. But yeah, it used to list them all.
Maybe they're updating it.
Maybe it's the end of Alphabet.
More should say a lot more, because it is.
Yeah. I know, but the only one they link through to is Calco, which is the one that's focused on conquering death.
Yeah, it's pretty boring stuff.
It used to be a lot more detailed than that. So I think Alphabet might be taking a back seat because as Google's now in charge of it back again. So see what happens. Maybe we've just breaking news. Alphabet might be over.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. We're going to got another one now, which I don't think I put this one in. It's about something called StoreDot. Is this one of yours? It meant a battery for EV that charged in 5 minutes.
That's right. Yeah, an American company has developed a battery that they're going to put into EV vehicles from China that can fully charge in 5 minutes, equivalent to diesel or petrol stop is what they reckon. And it's using different technology to existing batteries. It is semiconductor nanoparticles. It was quite a complicated technical read through, which I didn't understand, but it all sounded rather good. And it would appear that this is going to happen.
The thing is, when you charge a battery really quickly, you shorten its life. on the recharge cycle, because now did you know on the last Pixel 4 update that came out in December?
Hang on. Not these batteries. Not these
ones. They're made differently.
These are not lithium-based batteries, so that is not relevant.
Okay.
And they're completely water soluble, isn't they? Aren't they? They're more easily to manufacture because it's not lithium.
Yeah.
The article was basically saying that batteries are the new oil.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a massive game changer. If this happens, who wouldn't have an EV vehicle if it only takes 5 minutes at the fill-up station?
Well, exactly, because apart from the price, that's what's been putting me off. But if it's in 5 minutes,
yeah,
I'm getting an echo.
That was just me. My Pixel 4a replacement phone has just arrived.
He's very happy. He's very happy with the customer service.
Do you have to go?
No. Wife's gone to get it.
And now we'll have an interval.
Well, I set it up.
Oh, we could do an unboxing, then we'll go viral. Get it unboxed, Jay.
Go back. This is my Pixel 4a fact about the battery on that. In December, they brought out an update to it. So if you plug it into charge after 9 p.m., it will do a slow charge till it gets to full power, rather than a rapid one. If you plug it in before 9 p.m., it will be a rapid charge, but after 9 p.m., it will be a slow charge overnight. So
that's just 4A.
It's probably for the other Pixels as well, but
I'll have to have a look.
It was an update that came out, so the December feature pack that they released.
Is it still a thing? I don't think it is. But is it still a thing that if you leave your phone charging all night, it can ruin the battery? You're supposed to unplug it when it stopped charging?
Yeah, you do. You need to set an alarm for that. So.
Oh, right. Okay. I think it's too late.
Honestly, you set an alarm. But no. It's they're clever now. So
right.
It says, doesn't it, battery? Well, it does on the iPhone. Battery is sufficiently charged, and that it stopped charging.
Yeah, and it just goes onto the power cable for the time being. And then the final one is that Gather video calling software that we found. So
sorry about that.
Yeah, you guys, we were trying to demo it, and you guys didn't want to join.
I didn't have any makeup on.
I had a little wander around in my dressing gown last night. I didn't realise there were other people in there demoing it. I thought they were fake people, but I don't actually think they were.
Well, you must have joined a real chat then. You can set up your own room. So for everyone out there, Gather is a 2D graphical. It's almost like a graphical game where you walk around and you can talk to other people, and the videos, the video call of the other person appears. I'll hand it over to you, Carl, because you're better at describing this, and you're looking confused in my description because I know it's not great. So
it's like basically GTA, isn't it, on PlayStation 1?
I think it looks like Zelda. It looks like Zelda from like early Nintendo days. Yeah, early. If you knew what Zelda was on early Nintendo systems, that's what it looks like. And it gives you the ability to actually create a virtual conference. So you can put 20, 30 people in this space, and as you walk around and walk close to someone else, the camera fades up, and you can talk to them. You walk away, and it fades away, which is excellent. You can actually walk up to James and then go, "I'm bored with this, James," and just walk away, and he fades away. So we were enjoying being rude with each other mostly half the time.
Chase him around the conference centre just so I can talk to him.
But you can also find private spaces. So there's rooms that have got 3 seats, 2 seats, 4 seats, and if there's a 2-seat space, only 2 people can go in it, and then you can have a private conversation.
Cool.
And I genuinely think that this could be a great way to do network meetings instead of everyone has to turn up at the local event network meeting. You could now have network meeting where you can do that stuff, and it can be anywhere in the country. And I reckon that's got to be better than having to drive to your local event in Redditch to talk to only people in Redditch about financial services and plumbing.
Yeah, and I just thought that it would actually be really good as like a fun work do. Like if the people around, like in each room, like somebody sat there and they had something fun they were doing, like making cocktails or doing a cool like cooking thing. Yeah. And then you go to that room and then you just sit and chat and talk about it.
It is one of the ideas on the site.
Oh, is it? I didn't see that.
Reinventing the wheel.
You could have like
it's a good idea.
You could have like a training room with everyone sat at their desks, and then you can walk around to them, Laura, and check they're okay.
Well, Lauren could run an Office 365 training session. I could run a Google one, and we could see which one was more popular.
Just see people flocking.
We'd have to bomb that. We could bomb into that 365 and ruin it.
Yeah.
Into it.
365 shit.
And just run out. No, it's cool. I do really like it, and I like that it looks like Nintendo Zelda.
Yeah, I think the graphics are great play. They've played to the right age group with that, I think, with where they make it look like it's.
So it's called Gather, and it's gather.town, and we've got a video on YouTube about me and Carl playing around with it if anyone wants to go and have a watch. Next, we'll move on to conversation time and interview with Lauren and Jordan. Cloudshed, the training company, the best Google Workspace training company in the world. You might well be for the other one as well, but I don't know.
And obviously,
so, tell us about Cloudshed, how it came to be. I think you started it, didn't you, Jordan? And then Lauren, you joined.
Yeah. I feel like I tell this story a lot. Recently,
I
don't know
why. Here we go again.
I know these two telling us a story again. Basically, it started back. I started working in London in about 2011, I think it was. I got hired as an IT trainer to do Word, Excel, all that kind of stuff. And then when I got there, they were like, actually, we've gone to something called Google Apps. Do you think you could learn that? And I was like, hi. I was like, yeah, okay. So I learned that. And I think I actually got the job because in the interview, they said to me, what is your favorite thing on the internet? What's your favorite website? Can't stop laughing.
Can we explain that? That's what's happening right now.
Carl,
there's a small person that is joining podcast, haven't they? Do you want to say hello, Grace?
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, she's saying hello. So there's a small person, everybody, and that's why everyone's laughing.
Typical working from home at the minute.
I've got 4 people you can see. Yeah, good. Maths is going well.
We're live on the BBC.
That would be awesome if we were live on the BBC.
That would be great.
Oh, you're live on television, Grace.
Grace, what's your favourite?
Carry on.
What's your favourite thing to do, Grace?
What do you like doing?
To the arcade.
The arcade. Have you got a favourite game?
I don't think so. But
2p machines.
Yeah. Oh, 2p machines.
I like 2p machines. You can't get 10 Regal with a fibre wrapped around them anymore, though. That's the problem. That was right.
I'm not sure what my favourite one is. Well, I definitely know that I have a favourite prize that was once there. It was a Fortnite gun.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Did you play with the kinetic sand and the glitter over the weekend?
Are you doing it again today?
You should.
Hey, excuse me. I'm trying to get my house messy here. That's the house up.
Can we do it though?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Let's do it on the floor.
Right, Mum.
James, what are you doing?
Best to do it on the floor because there's plenty of space. You don't want to do it on a table because that limits what you can do. So on the floor.
Hijacked podcast. Mum's up now.
Yeah, no more talk of glitter and
Well, you come in to say that as well while we're here. We might as well just make a party of it. This is Kelly.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
I'm going to go do some homeschooling.
Good luck.
Bye.
Get that glitter sand out.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sorry.
Fabulous. This is real world, you know. This is how it is now.
Oh yeah, this is real life.
I'm thought bubbling.
So back in where were we? We were back in 2011. We've time traveled back to present time. Let's go back. So I became a Google Apps trainer and worked for them and went to train in India and things like that for their offices for the rollout, and then saw a gap in the market because obviously at that agency we had our own Google partner and it actually changed whilst we were there to a better one, and at the time, and then I thought, well, there's a gap in the market for this. Maybe we could do it freelance. So I gave it a go and it worked out. And roughly around the same time, Lauren was finishing university, and it was about this time where you go home and you're like, Mum, what am I going to do in my life? And Mum was like, well, you can come work at Next with me. And I said, well, you could come work at Cloudshed with me. And Lauren went, yeah, all right, then I'll move to London. work at Cloudshed. So she learned everything, and yeah, that was it. And then we just carried on, branched out to Office 365, but that's only sort of in the last 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
Was that when you guys had your place in East London when we were at the next event? Didn't you point that, say you were around that area?
Yeah, we did live there. Well, we used to live there, yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren moved in and trained her up. She's a bit nervous at first, but now, you know, she's brilliant. So it worked. It worked out.
Well, I got a degree in drama, so that helped.
Yeah. And we sort of said we just train the exact same. We sound the same. We do it the same. So it works. And I think it's good working with, like, obviously in a small company. We have tried to sort of add people to it, or even sort of hire contractors if we've got a lot of work on, but it just never seems to work as well, because obviously we trust each other so much, and we know we're never going to let each other down or the companies that we work for down, and it just works really well just with the two of us, to be honest. And then working with other companies like you guys, you feel like you've got your own little community anyway, so it worked out very well.
So what excited you most about the cloud and like focusing on training in the cloud rather than anything else, computer-wise?
Well, when I got to the agency and they said, do you want to learn this Google Apps? And that's what I was going to say before as well. They said in my interview, what's your favorite thing about the internet? What's your favorite website? And I said, well, to be honest, it's just Google, because you can get to everything from there. And I think that's when they sort of had the light bulb moment. They're like, actually, do you want to be a Google Apps trainer? So that's what excites me about it. You just have everything in this one browser window. You access everything so quickly, and it changes all the time. And in training, that's kind of a double-edged sword, really, because you can be in a session and you can say, they'll ask you something, you say, it doesn't do that right now, but it might soon. And then it normally does. Normally with a few months, it's changed, and sometimes actually changes when you're in training, and that's interesting. But that's good, because it shows how dynamic it is and how you don't have to wait for it to be pushed out to your machine. It's just, you know, it's there, it's live, it's happened.
So how's this pandemic changed your business? What changes have you made, or have you had to make any, or has it just been the same as normal?
It's been good in a way, because we were talking about this last night, weren't we? We were just saying that for us, sort of just, obviously the pandemic's nearly been a year now, but maybe a year before that, a lot of our training was switching to online, to video call. People were making that switch. We were getting sort of more long-term projects that were all via Google Meet. So the pandemic has kind of cemented that for us, because other companies that shied away from that said, oh, it won't be as good, you won't have the same atmosphere, and we prefer it in person. Obviously, they haven't really had a choice in the last year, and they've needed to get people's knowledge set up. So they've tried it, and a lot of them are actually preferring it, because they do find that it is the same, if not better. Because a lot of people don't like sitting in a training session with people that they don't really know that well in the business, and they're probably not going to feel comfortable asking things as much as they would in an online training session, in a video call. And to be honest, it is just the same. We run them the exact same. We make sure they're interactive. You know, it's demo. It's not just a load of PowerPoint slides. Death by PowerPoint, we've heard a lot of people say. It's not that. It's fun via Google Slides.
Yeah, no, we did a bit of like working from home. Did we, like working remotely with Google, working remotely with Beep, and and that worked well, because a lot of companies were just forced to modernize, weren't they? And some found it easy because they were on Google anyway, but others maybe were on Google but still used a server and still sent attachments, and maybe just used like a phone at their desk. They didn't video call at all. So they did need training on, this is how you create a meet link, this is how you send a meet link to someone.
Yeah, definitely. And I think all the benefits that we try and sell in the training sold themselves during the pandemic. It's like, oh, actually, this is real life. I mean, going back into 2012, when I was working for the ad agency, we were gearing up for the Olympics, and we thought a lot of people were going to have to work from home. We had those messages on the buses that Boris did. This, don't get caught up, it's going to be really busy. So we got everyone on Google Apps, we got everyone set up for home working, and people were like, we're not going to need this, we're not going to do it. And then like fate stepped in, and that week we had a flood in the building. No one could go in, and it was where a lot of the computer technical servers and things were. There was a massive flood, and everyone had to work online, and a lot of people that hadn't like invested in it, embraced it in the business, couldn't do anything. They had clients that weren't happy because they couldn't work. The whole IT team, we were just working as normal. We were video calling, and it kind of, that then like, oh, right, okay, we get this now. We need to embrace this for the future when different things are going to happen. I mean, obviously no one had ever think a global pandemic was going to happen, but you've got to be prepared.
I've noticed as well with the clients that you train for us that they'll just drop a message saying, oh, can we book some more training in? And I think that's to do with it being virtual now, because before it was all, you couldn't just book it in because you'd have to arrange for you to visit and all that kind of stuff. But now they've all accepted virtual. They just are much more, it's just a quick instant thing. So yeah, okay, we'll just find out some dates that they can do. And that's it, rather than previously before it was like, you'd have to find out what the ticket prices were and all that kind of stuff and factor it in to the cost beforehand.
Exactly. It is much better. And the only reason we were going to offices is because they really wanted us to, because they just didn't see how they would get the benefit from the video call. So now that's taken out of the way. It's working really well.
I really hope that you do continue to get the growth, not only for you guys in your own business, but because how often James and I see that people still in 2021 cannot use computers at all. They struggle so much. And yet when you mention training, no, never had any, no, the company doesn't do it. It's kind of nuts that that's the case. You're not allowed to get on a forklift truck without a license. I don't understand how you're allowed to operate a computer that controls all the finances for the business without any qualification or training.
I know, and a lot of businesses make the mistake of presuming everyone just knows it, because I mean, my friends, we're 27, 28, and they struggle with computers. When I did a quiz on Friday, and I had to do like the 5th tutorial in a year for my friend on how to type in meet.google.com into a web browser.
Is that a shout out to Georgia?
Yeah, it is. It was Georgia. Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy.
Kelly's applied for a job with McLaren as a PA to the board at McLaren, the Formula One team, and one thing says must be digitally competent. That's it. That's the only requirement for any technology or IT skills in that job role. That's a Formula One racing team. It's ridiculous that they don't have any more requirement than maybe you're a bit digitally competent, which means whoever's interviewing isn't and wouldn't know what that was anyway.
I know. A lot of businesses that we've spoken to this year, I mean, obviously when we were going into businesses, we saw people that would sit down and they go, why isn't there a mouse with this laptop that we're using for training? It's like they didn't know how to use the trackpad and things like that.
Yeah, one woman walked out of my training once. She came into the room and said, where's the mouse? And I said, it's just we're just providing Chromebooks. And she just didn't even say anything, got up and left.
Yeah.
Just fuming.
And then a lot of businesses that we've spoken to this year, they're like, oh, the majority of the business will be able to do this via video call, but there's quite a few people that won't be able to get on and they can't really use like the equipment. I'm like, oh, is that not a big part of the job? They're like, yeah, it is. And I'm thinking, well, why are you letting your employees work like that? Why are you one, why are you hiring them if they don't know how to do it? But two, why aren't you investing in them and at least giving them that confidence that they can use the equipment that they need for their job role? It is just crazy. So people are just sat at home isolated thinking I can't even do my job because I don't know how to use this equipment without other people in the office supporting me every step of the way.
It's crazy. It drives us mad. It's like I always have a rant whenever one of those comes through. I'm ballistic. I can't be dealing with this.
And I try and tell James that I'm pretty much convinced that's 90% of people, at least. It just is. And there's even good people. It's so few and far between competent, skilled people on a computer. We're not asking a lot. I mean, people manage to use their phones all right and all that.
Yeah.
That's not super straightforward. So I don't get it why they can't use a desktop computer, but they can use all their apps.
I actually think a phone's harder to use than a desktop.
Well, actually, I beg to differ because our mum doesn't really know how to use her phone. I mean, I call my mum most days, and then she'll talk about a conversation she's had with Jordan on Hangouts, and I'll go, I know, you put it in the group chat, and she went, oh, could you see all that? I was like, yeah, it's a good job. You didn't say anything bad about me.
I know. I mean, I've spent this pandemic I hope she's not going to watch. She's going to kill me. But I've spent the pandemic weekly doing my mum and my grandma's Tesco shop online. My mum's even taken now to sending me a list. Normally she rings up, but she wrote down a list for me. She lives around the corner. She popped it through the door, and she'd written like claret wine offer 2 for something. I was like, hang on a minute, she's actually been on the website, looked at the offers, looked at what she wanted, but is still getting me to actually do the order.
She's playing you there. She's playing you.
I know. I was like, does she just think, oh, it's something for her to do, keep her going, or she just really can't do that checkout bit? I don't know, but
It is funny. It's when you call your mom and it's this. Hello?
Yeah.
Are you all right? No. Move the camera.
time.
Is that better? No. No, not working.
So what's your favourite trick then to help people learn? Is there anything special that you do?
I think just make it fun. Make it seem like they're not learning. Like they're just there to, like build their confidence in that area, keep it interactive, not just loads of slides, and make sure they're doing it with you and it goes quicker for them. Normally at the end they're like, gosh, is that over already?
Yeah, I think online again it's made it easier to get them to interact. So just at the beginning of training, I mean, I act like it's the first time I've seen it, so I do a little act at the beginning where I go, have you seen the new backgrounds? And then I put on funny backgrounds to get people, and then people start messing around with them. Yeah. And then like throughout the session I'll get them to write things in the chat. So do you already use this? If you do, put an idea in the chat for everyone else, just so they're not just sat there falling asleep. They think, oh, actually, yeah, I'm interacting with this. And obviously we share documents and things with them and get them involved in the training. So they're probably learning and they don't even realise because we're getting them to do it with us.
So you mentioned about the lady that walked out because you had a Chromebook. So have you had any other training sessions from hell where it's just been awful?
I did bring up one last night, but I don't know whether to talk about it. It's actually scarred me for life.
You can change the names to protect the...
Yeah, don't say the name.
Oh, no, I don't know the names. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean the name of the organisation.
Oh, yeah, well, it was the same organisation, actually, but I think it was lacking with... It's always if there's training and there hasn't been any change management before it. That's when it's not a good training session, which luckily doesn't happen that much anymore.
Because we've taken that over.
Yeah, because we make them do it and we do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically this organisation went Google, and it was in the press, it was going really well. I was reading articles and laughing. It wasn't going very well at all. But yeah, and they decided to save money. They were going to make them use Google Groups, which is the worst app in the world, personally, I think. And they said you have one person from every team has to go to a 50-minute. So I had a 10-minute break, 50-minute training session on Google Groups, and then we're migrating you straight after. And this guy brought his whole team, even though he was told not to, and they just ganged up on me, and it was horrible. They were like, and tell them this, tell them that you can only CC, you can't send messages directly. Tell them. And I was like, you can only CC, you can't send messages directly to anyone. And it was horrible. And they made him apologise to me later because I basically was internally crying. And then they all left really angry. They might as well have just been sat with pitchforks.
I guess you blacklisted them for any future training.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I continued the training. I liked where I was.
Dedication.
I liked the play.
Yeah. We have to finish it when we've started it, but we do more of the change management now, and we try to sell that in rather than just say, no, we'll sell this day in and this is how long it'll take us to create the training. We're like, right, what change management has been done? We can help you do this, this, and this with comms and run different things. And we try to take control of that in most of the sort of longer term projects now, to make sure that we don't get those scenarios. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that, I mean, I always try to think there's nothing, there is no bad training session, because even if they're really not very good, that's what you're there for, as long as you haven't got a really mixed group where it's like complete beginner and complete advanced. But again, we don't really get that if we're taking control of it, because we assess all that before. Yeah. I mean, I've had people cry before because they couldn't use the mouse.
Oh God, yeah, I had that with the same organisation as well. This woman
this was a recruitment company, and I just had to make some time in my lunch to sort of go and sit with her and like teach her the basics and things like that. I think the worst ones are where they're not very respectful, or you get some men in, and they're just like, it's not being said. You do get men in, and it's obviously we're female. They're just like, and they don't value training as well. It's like a double-edged thing. They're like, we've got to give up our time for this, and this is just a waste of my time, or it's not very valuable, and that can happen sometimes.
But look, I think hopefully now with the pandemic, because everyone's been using modern tools, it's going to be a lot easier. You're not going to get people who are really, really, really basic, because they've had some experience with it now, at least.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit different now.
Yeah.
And assessing the needs before, if they allow us to do that, it goes a lot smoother.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do that a lot now, don't we? Send like a pre-training survey if it's like for Google Sheets or something.
Yeah. Can you fill this?
Do you think you're competent enough to turn your computer on and join this video call?
No, it is hard for people, but it must be kind of their fault for taking on a job role that they weren't qualified for. But at the same time, it's the fault of the people that are hiring them. They haven't checked this, and then they're not helping them when they get there. They're just putting them in and hoping for the best.
It's definitely the fault of the people rather than the person applying, because the person applying is going to apply anyway. It's the company that needs to weed out part of the recruitment process if they can use a computer or not. And they don't, because they, like Kyle said, with McLaren and everyone else, can you use Word? Oh, okay, you can use Word. That's it. Then you can do everything. You don't need any training. And it's just like, it's just no one asks any proper questions in recruiting.
And it's sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, we've told our clients what questions they should ask and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Find out about it, and they don't. They still don't ask, because I can see by who they've hired. You didn't ask the question that I asked, because they can't do something that they should be able to do. But carry on, Jordan.
I was just going to say, it's like when you run a business, it is a constant investment that you should be making, because as we were saying earlier, one of our favorite things about the cloud is that it changes all the time. If you're not investing in the training, people are going to get left behind really quickly, and especially if you start using different apps and things like that, and how the rate, we know how often Google can change, or how things work differently, integrate differently, and if they haven't had training on that, then there's going to be no productivity there. And that's the main aim of the game, isn't it, with a business? You need them to be productive. You're
basically paying somebody to do a job that they can't do, so you're throwing all that money away for paying them to do 25% of what they only can do 25% of what they're contracted to do.
Yeah.
So surely you should put some more money into training so you can get 100% out of them.
Definitely.
In companies that don't value technology still.
You
still see it all as a cost. All this IT stuff is just cost.
Yeah.
And there's no benefit from it. There's no positivity out of it, and they're wrong. And it's shocking that companies still see it that way, and even the boards and the owners of the businesses just don't understand. They just do not understand any of it.
No, they don't.
Let's move on to the next part of the interview then. What on a daily basis is your favourite bit of technology that you could not live without?
Mine's a Chromecast. Are we talking personally or work-wise, or both?
You can do both if you want to. It was going to be more personal, but you can do what.
Oh, personal, definitely Chromecast.
That's a really interesting one. I don't think we've had that mentioned before.
Haven't you?
I got a new Fitbit the other day.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say I can't live without it, because it's only
had it like 2 days.
I did have an older one, but it was rubbish. So you could say I've been wearing one for a few years. So I couldn't live without it. It's good to know how my heart rate is when I'm exercising every day.
Yeah, Chromecast is a good one. I've got 3 in my house, and they're super important. Yeah,
you just forget.
Yeah,
because I don't even have I don't have a DVD player or anything. So just cast everything for Hallie, my little one, for us on an evening. It's even nice to walk in the living room, and when you're not casting anything, it just has all your pictures, because you can connect it to your Google Photos. And you think, oh, that was a nice memory.
I know it is, and I think every town has one. There's a stuff for sale in Scunthorpe, isn't there? A Facebook page, and a couple of months ago somebody said on it, "Has anybody got this on DVD?" I was thinking, has anybody got a DVD player?
I know.
I'm actually looking for a VCR player at the moment. Because
my mum's got 2 in the garage, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say mine's at my mum's if you want it.
I got an old video of a recording of a family member, and I want to convert it onto digital. So I need a VCR player to play it and play it all the way through while recording it, connected to a computer to record it. A VCR player that's not going to shred the tape when it's playing it either.
Yeah.
The hard part. So, what's your favorite bit of technology ever?
Oh wow!
1 minute.
Just 1 second.
Oh, they're all prepared.
We're doing show and tell, are we?
Stadia's come out.
Yeah, Stadia by Lauren. So that is the favorite one of all time out of every console you've ever played. It's Stadia.
Yeah, I think so. That and PS2.
What do you love about Stadia so much?
That all I need is this, and I can play it. It's blurry now.
That's the controller.
The controller and the Chromecast, but all I need is a web browser on my phone. I just love it because if I get kicked, we've only got one TV, so if I get kicked out the room with the TV, I'm like, okay, I'll just switch to my phone and carry on playing.
It is an awesome piece of kit.
You got the claw device? Oh no, I just looked at Jordan.
Not yet. Oh yeah, I forgot you were going to do that. We planned that last night.
Is he looking at Lauren trying to and just turn to the right, and Jordan's full on cyborg with a headset and now a Google Glass.
I remember when we had a party in our flat in London, and obviously pre-pandemic.
Take a screen.
And that was like the centre of attention, wasn't it? Everyone wanted to try it on.
Everyone wanted to use it.
It's
hard to fit on. It's hard to fit on with a headset.
Does it still work? Is it still plugged into your Google account and do things?
Yeah, I've not used it for a while, but the last time I used it, it was.
Did you buy that or did you get given it?
I bought it on the Explorer program.
Okay. Oh, so that is vintage.
It is vintage. It's the original.
That's computer history. That is. Have you got the box for it still?
That'll be worth it.
I've got the case. I've got another case for the stuff that came with it in the box.
Jealous there because I've never used a Google Glass.
You can borrow it if you want. They're coming back anyway, aren't they? Well, not with Google, I don't think, but I've seen.
Don't they still do it for manufacturing and stuff like that?
I think
still got, like,
so.
the enterprise program.
And I saw sort of an article about it coming back in some kind of way. And I do actually think maybe it's a better time to release it now. Probably would be more update. Now people are used to sort of voice noting a lot, talking to watches and, different things like that, using your watch for notifications and things. I think it's probably a better time to maybe release.
But at the same time, like, what do you need it for if you've got all that stuff?
Well, it's different, isn't it? It's a different. I actually think, because in lockdown, I'm not going to sound like I'm about 80 now. I've had a lot of back issues and a lot because of my posture, because I've had to get like a new TV stand and make sure that my laptop's elevated all the time, use the screen and things. And I actually think when I'm out for a walk, I try not to use my phone. But if I had my Google Glass on, I could literally just keep my posture right, walk along and do everything I needed to do without sort of, ruining.
When you had it on just then, I was thinking, how did Sergey Brin ever think they were going to take off and people start walking around with those? On?
I didn't feel stupid. I enjoyed it.
I think they probably work better when it's like a full. Did you ever go out publicly wearing those then?
Yeah. When we lived in East London, I used to go out for walks and what. I took them to Tesco's one day. I was like, okay.
No one would bat an eye in East London to it. I mean, come on.
I was scared I'd get robbed, but yeah. And again, people are used to like having Google Homes and things now. So you're used to saying, "Hey Google, okay Google." With that, you just do your "Okay Google" and tap it. People are more used to those kind of things now.
You've just activated a lot of Google Homes for people.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Nothing went off for me actually.
I think I've got mine muted here.
Mine's been off once earlier. When we were just talking about those Google glasses, she just kicked in saying, "Sorry, I don't understand, or I can't find anything about it."
It's a long time ago.
So, is there anyone that any heroes, famous people that admire or inspire you?
Joe Wicks.
John Wicks.
Yeah, she loves Joe Wicks.
Oh,
I've followed him since the beginning. I'm a big fan.
And that right there, it's Lean in
15. Not since 2020 when he did PE with Joe.
15.
No, I really respect him because he did start from nothing and he talks about it a lot. He started from nothing. He just did boot camps in a park in London. No one came and he gave out leaflets at a tube station. And he has actually worked really hard to get where he's at. Our friend's very jealous of him because he is into PE and he says, Joe, PE with Joe is not PE, and he gets so angry about it. But I still love Joe.
The only downside with Joe for me is because I bought the plan and things, is that he didn't value technology early enough in his business.
Yeah.
I signed up in September and I got a PDF with all like my customized recipes and stuff. And I was like, this is so impractical. It's in the books on my phone. I have to keep scrolling through. And then he's obviously just released the app, but it's only for iPhone. Android's not going to be right for another year probably. And I think for something like that that's been big for quite a long time, has got loads of books, why would you not have an app sooner? Like, I'm part of the group on Facebook and a lot of people have sort of made like it made it more searchable and done it in different ways that other people can buy off them and stuff. But I don't think he valued that side of it early enough for me.
Didn't the guy do a Google Sheet or something with it?
Yeah, he sort of plugged it in.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when I first started it, Joe did like a poll on his Facebook group saying, Joe, I don't call him Joe Wicks on a first name basis, and he said, what do you think? I think he said, would you like an app, a site, or whatever? And everybody said an app, and there are a lot of people like me who are a bit annoyed because we're all on Android and everyone's bragging about this amazing. The app does look really good, but the developers said it's going to be another 6 to 9 months before we can even get it on an Android.
That was what was surprising as well. Not even like a proper website with your stuff on. You just get emailed a PDF a few days after you've put your measurements in and stuff. I was like, this is not 20. Well, it was 2020 at the time. This is not 2020.
Yeah.
A PDF.
I know. I think he probably didn't know how much it was going to take off. So he just had a few support heroes, they call them. You can chat them whenever you like. And they obviously just bunged it together and thought, let's just see what happens.
He does use Google though, so.
I know. I was messaging him and I said, I'm a Google trainer. And he did thumbs up.
eyelash flutter.
So out of everyone in the history of humankind, Joe Wicks is the one that you admire and inspires you.
I like it, James. It's different. It's not the cliched people we normally get.
It is good. It is good.
Mine would probably be SJP, I think, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, well, that's even worse.
Well, no, because she's very multifaceted. Actress.
What's the name?
Sex and the City.
Yeah.
We've seen her in the street. We saw her in the street.
We've even seen her when we went to New York. I mean, that was amazing.
We were staying really high up in a hotel and we got in the lift, pressed the button and someone went, oh my God, SJP's outside. And we were like, what? And then we were like quickly like pressing, trying to get back down, like ran across the road to see it.
We did. It was good, but like obviously she's an actress and everything, but she has clothes now, shoes store, shoes online. You can even get them delivered to the UK if you want. She has wine that's now available in Sainsbury's. That's a fantastic white wine. I don't even like white wine that much, but it's very good. But I like that when people have different
experts at branding and profiteering off a brand, you mean?
Yeah, I just think I like it when people work really hard and then they do different things.
You don't think she looks a bit like a boiled horse?
No, I think she looks
she's beautiful. I do actually think she's beautiful. And Jordan, you forgot to mention that another part of your interview at BBH, you did a presentation on SJP.
Also, yeah, that's how I got the job at. Oh, you just said the advertising company.
Oh, okay.
I had to do a presentation. I had to do 2. So I did one that was it had to be about me. And then 2, because the guy that was interviewing me used to be CIO at Channel 4, I thought, Sex and the Sea, Channel 4. So I did a presentation about Sex and the Sea because they just wanted to see my presentation skills. I did get the job off the back of that. So if SJP hadn't have done that, I might not have got that job.
Who would have been your second option then if you couldn't do it? If she didn't exist and you couldn't do a presentation, who would you have fallen back to?
I don't know. Joe Wicks. I know he didn't exist.
Another member of the cast in Sex and the City.
Yeah, true.
Isn't that show coming back, but without Cachal?
It is. It's coming back.
It is, yeah. It's not going to be the same.
It'll be fine.
She was my favourite character.
Yeah,
Well,
she
no,
is.
It's because she doesn't like SJP, but we won't get into that.
Talking about shows that are coming back, the one I'm looking forward to is Dexter. I like Dexter.
Oh, I can't wait.
Is that coming back? Is it? Okay.
One more. They're doing one more series of it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I hope they don't ruin it.
I don't think they will. It's not the kind of thing that you could ruin, I don't think.
It's just such a weird show, isn't it? It's so clever.
They just need to keep the same format and it'll work.
Yeah.
So if we were to dump you guys on a desert island,
Desert Island. What?
Discs. I don't want people to know. I don't want people to know where I nicked the idea from. Yeah, if we were to dump you on a desert island with no hope of rescue, what 3 bits of technology would you take with you? Who wants to start?
We have a couple of questions first. Is there internet and electricity?
No internet.
Yes. There is electricity though.
There's electricity, but no internet.
Oh, I've got to change my list then because I had Stadia on it.
There's no internet.
John, you go first.
Oh, if there's no internet, this changes things. Well, I'd take a speaker so you could play music, and I'd plug that into probably my Mac. I was going to say a phone, but probably my MacBooks. I've got my storage. And then I'd probably just take an external hard drive with loads of movies and stuff like that on if there's no Wi-Fi.
Is there a phone mast?
Unless you build one.
No, there's no phone mast.
It's not going to be connected to anything, but you can still build one if you want to.
Okay, I don't know if this is a thing, but I'd take a wind-up record player with some records.
Okay. Fisher-Price did them.
Got one of them.
You've got one thing left now.
Yeah, telephone mast.
And records.
And there is electricity.
Yes.
Oh, my Fitbit. Can't think of anything.
So you two have basically taken entertainment and have thought nothing of survival whatsoever. I always go for a fridge. Why would you go for a fridge? Surely a fridge is a good call.
I'm just going to be eating coconut all day.
You can't just eat coconut all day, though. That's if you've watched Ray Mears and all them. Like you can't do that. You'll die.
Tom Hanks didn't have a fridge, and he was fine.
He wasn't fine.
He wasn't fine. He made friends with a football. He was not fine.
He definitely wasn't fine.
Okay, there we go. Entertainment is key in your guys' world. We've read entertainment matters. Okay.
Just out of interest, if you have got internet, what did you pick?
Stadia, phone, headphones.
Phone, MacBook, and a Google Home speaker.
Surely people answer things like that every time.
No, they obviously go for like can opener and stuff.
We've had people say they bring like solar panels so they could charge stuff, collect energy so they could use it at night time.
Oh, they've sat down too long and thought about it.
We've had some quite good ones, haven't we?
We're going down that route, probably like a hairdryer or something.
Jet ski.
Oh yeah, jet ski is a good one.
I think Paul Lee's was the most detailed one. That's a few episodes back.
Yeah.
And Paul had clearly put a hell of a lot of thought into what he was taking because he'd managed to find a way to escape the island pretty much.
Oh my gosh. Well, if we get invited back, we promise to put more thought into that and more of an action plan.
Super. I want to see your workings on Google Sheets and then a slide presentation too. Recommendations. Let's finish the podcast with our recommendations. So I'll start. I've got 2. I've got Power the Maxwells, and this is about the Maxwell family. So what was the guy's name? He was Maxwell. What was his first name? The media
Robert.
Yeah, Robert Maxwell. So it's all about his family, about him suspiciously falling off his yacht.
Yes.
And it goes into details on that. It's sort of a follow-up from the previous podcast I was talking about Gwaylyn Maxwell, where they were seeing how involved she was with the guy who's now dead.
Right, okay.
Jeffrey Epstein. And this is like a follow-on to how she got to that point and how all the power that the Maxwells had. So it's quite an interesting podcast. The next one's a BBC one called I'm Not a Monster. And it's about a lady who ended up in Syria living with ISIS. She claims she was tricked to go there by her husband, who turned out to be an ISIS fanatic and became a fighter for them and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's about 7 episodes in now, and I'm into it, and they're just trying to investigate did she actually get tricked there, or did she know what was happening, and did she go and live with them, and she actually enjoyed being there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because she's currently under arrest now by the United States.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't go back to America. She's arrested. So it's called I'm Not a Monster on BBC. Carl, you're next.
Yeah, I have one on Netflix, 4-part true crime Night Stalker about basically California's version of the Yorkshire Ripper in 1985 in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Really good, really good. Lots of talking heads, interview with the detectives, takes you through the story in a chronological order. Very interesting if you like true crime. Excellent. No more to say on that without spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers on that. It's well worth enjoying.
It's now Bridgerton by Jordan. Well, you didn't make it, but
I wish I did. I'd be rolling in it. It's just been announced a second season. It's really good. It's like a period. So, at first I was like, it was around Christmas. Thought this is going to be a bit dull, but I'm running out of stuff to watch, so I'll give it a watch. Sort of like, it looked like a period drama, but it's not really like that. It doesn't really take on the period, mainly just the costumes of like the Regency London area. But I think it's filmed a lot in Bath, that parade area. I think it's a lot of that. But it's really good. It obviously the orchestral scenes is like a traditional orchestra, but they play sort of modern music, and it's more like if you like Gossip Girl, it's like Gossip Girl but a period drama, which I'm sure you love.
You don't watch it with your kids.
Yeah, it's a bit. It gets a bit racy in areas.
Is it a bit blue?
Yeah, a bit blue, but it has like an interesting theme. So the Queen is black, and there's a lot of noble black characters in it, and they wanted to do that to, it was not really showing the time, but then they thought they were being quite ignorant about it actually, and sort of playing down how it would have been for people back then. So they did bring in the storyline of sort of mentioning that they have a black queen because the white king fell in love with her, and that's what changed things for black people in that time, but it would still be the same if that hadn't have happened. So that's got an interesting sort of relevant theme at the moment through it, and that too for me made it really interesting, an interesting take on it and what things could have been like, but what they're not like, and so they weren't playing it down. But yeah, it's good. It's once you watch a couple of episodes, you've got to watch the whole thing. I watched it in like 2 days, so there you go.
There you go. It's quite unusual for Netflix to do something to get a series 2. They normally kill it.
Yeah.
You're lucky there.
It's got the same producer, the same woman. I think her name's Shonda Rhimes, something like Shonda Rhimes, something like that. She does like Grey's Anatomy and things like that. So she's got some really big shows behind her. So that's what drew me in as well, because I thought, it's not going to be just a typical period drama then if she's producing it. And it wasn't. It was really good.
And then you've got WandaVision on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's good. So I need more background to this because I know that there's lots of Easter eggs and things like this, and I need to watch more of the Marvel films to get these two characters. I don't know if you two watch things like that, if you know about the characters that are in WandaVision, but it's two characters from that from those films. I'm trying not to give any spoilers away. People are going to watch it, but it's basically two characters taken from sort of the Marvel world, and they're in, I think it begins in sort of the 1950s. He's like a mechanical man, but obviously no one knows that, so he looks human sometimes he looks mechanical, and she's a witch character, and they're sort of in a 1950s set currently, but each episode I think they go into different sort of eras, and it's about they're finding out different things in each era that they're gonna have to save the world or something at some point, I think. But it's quite interesting. If you're into Marvel and things like that, it's quite good. At first it was a bit like Pleasantville and like a bit it's like, where is this going? But then it's sort of little Easter eggs in each thing. You're like, oh right, and it like underplays the themes of the film and what's happened in the last film. So yeah, kind of.
You've just reminded me what Umbrella Academy, Jordan. That was really good.
Oh, that's also very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but we won't get onto that because
Is it Lupin?
Yes, and I didn't realise we were going to go into this much detail on the description. So I've actually brought up the Netflix descriptions of both these series, even though I watched it a couple of days ago. So it's inspired by the adventures of, I don't know how to pronounce the first bit, but Lupin. And I really want to read that book now. And it says, gentleman thief Asan sets out to avenge his father for an injustice inflicted by a wealthy family. And it is so good. It's really, really clever. Because he like plants jewels on people and stuff to frame them and things. But I'm not very good at describing it. You just have to watch it because it's really good.
And you've got Money Heist next as well.
But he's also, I just want to say there's a drone in it. He's really clever, and he like hacks into stuff and he gets a drone and breaks into someone's house and stuff.
It's subtitled.
I'm sorry, somebody's just on my balcony, a builder. I'm having cladding removed. I didn't know they were going to be on my balcony today. So what did you say, Kyle?
Is it in French, so it's subtitled?
Yes, but you can change the audio because I'm not a very patient person, so I have English over the top. And Money Heist is the same, so it's Spanish, but you can do, American.
I got used to it with Narcos. 80% of Narcos is in Spanish, so I just got used to reading subtitles.
I know. I tried to watch it, but I was doing a puzzle at the same time, so I had to turn it off because I couldn't keep up with it.
No, you have to concentrate. You can't do anything while watching Narcos except watch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow for it because of all the Spanish,
Yeah. And Money Heist is very good. Again, I did the audio, English audio over it, but it is another very clever guy who like plans a heist at the Royal Mint, and it's just really good watching it all unfold. It goes from like the planning to the heist, and then they do another heist. There's going to be a 5th series, I think, late this year. Probably not though. Next year.
I started watching Money Heist. I must have watched like 6 episodes of it, and then I stopped watching it. And I think it was because I didn't want it in English, but I didn't want to read the subtitles either.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did, James. I got to I was really into it, and I had the English over the top, so it wasn't really annoying me because I was really into it. But then it started to lose my attention a bit, and that's when I was a bit like, oh, I can't be doing with this anymore.
I was flicking between the English version and the subtitles version, and it's like, the English version, they're definitely not saying as much as they do in the subtitles.
Yeah,
I'm missing bits here, so I kind of stopped watching it.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, it's not as accurate as I thought it would be.
And then the final recommendation is something that's probably going to be going away shortly on the new MacBooks. Is you recommended the Touch Bar.
Yeah, why is it going away?
I don't think anyone uses it apart from.
I use it for emojis all the time, and I was going to bring this up, but I said to Jordan, you'll probably be annoyed. It's really good when you're using PowerPoint because the slides appear on the touch bar and you can skip between the slides and like hit present and stuff. And we had a Zoom call last week.
I think we're going to end the podcast here.
And I don't like Zoom. I want to make it clear. I really, really don't like Zoom, and I wouldn't have used it unless I had to. And all the controls for Zoom came up, but obviously with other things that doesn't happen.
I read an article that it's going away.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
I like it. I think it's so good. When I was editing an iMovie last night, just quickly dragging, it comes up like with your clip, and you just quickly drag to the place you want it to go.
Yeah, you can go through the timeline. It's amazing.
It was much more accurate, I found, doing that, and so really quick. So for like movie editing, I think it's really useful.
Clearly has its cases.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to submit them to Apple later.
Microsoft have just released an advert that takes the mickey out of it. That's what the news is saying, that their Surface is completely touchscreen. So why is the Mac only limited to that?
Yeah, but I like that because I don't want to be touching my screen.
I know. I've already got fingerprints on my screen. I don't know how, and it's already annoying me. And I said the other day, I hate having a touch screen because it just annoys me. Fingerprints.
I think that's better. It's like the best of both worlds.
No, I don't disagree. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of touching screens and making them greasy and dirty.
Yeah. And I like the little fingerprint key as well. That's good.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. So much easier than typing your password every time.
Yeah.
Well, here we are at the end of the podcast. So for the listeners out there, where can they get in contact with you? Are you on, you're on LinkedIn and Twitter or on places like that?
Twitter, LinkedIn, just at Cloudshed, Instagram, Facebook.
Is it at Cloudshed on all of those?
It is, yeah. Or you can just go to our website, www.cloudshedtraining.co.uk.
There you go. So
Only
recommend doing
available
that.
in Brave browser. Is that? I'm joking.
Not available in Brave browser. Use Chrome for the best experience.
So, thank you guys for joining us, and it was great fun.
Thank
Indeed.
you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. It was really good. Thank you.
We will speak to everyone soon, and don't forget to like, follow, share, and do what you normally do with this podcast. Not listen to it, which is what most people do. But if you do listen to it, enjoy it.
You should know that, eh? But what about the stats?
Yeah, we'll talk about that some other time.
Okay.
It might blow our ego a bit, so we'll talk about it.
No one's listening.
Yeah.